Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Mother Mary of the Second Coming, and this is also Seraphic Deliverance episode 26, which is a series where I deal with all kinds of things, including court cases, which is what I call them. There are cases where the Lord wants me to deal with people's problems, make them face them, which is never pretty, by the way. So yeah, I get really fiery. I get very too much in people's faces, if you want to call it too much, because I've got the Lord speaking through me, and unless I'm being heard, obviously you can't be like a little cute little sheep talking to them, because they're actually going against the Lord whenever they're doing what they're doing. In this case, it was a little baby girl crying by herself in the field while the mother, older brother, and the dog were together on the other side playing with the damn kite. So I wrote it down. I just finished typing it up. Hopefully, it's no longer than, I don't know, 30 minutes. I only have 2 pictures for it, and I wanted to get it out of the way because it does my head in. Every time I deal with really stressful situations, I don't want to think about it anymore. So I have to get it out there, and that's it, I'm done, sort of thing. So I'm going to start with the prayer. Heavenly Father, protect every baby with your loving hands. Surround them with peace, health, and faithful guardians. May every child be cherished, safe from harm, and grow in wisdom, hope, and love. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Um, as usual, I explain some of the things, like, for example, doing the cross sign on yourself can mean heart-mind coherence, which is something I started adding to my episodes because they're quite important. The cross is unity. And only the Lord can help you achieve it because He created you. So He knows how to trigger you, how to make you grow, how to become authentic, and to represent Him more, because that's when life is given to you, when you represent Him. So another explanation, the human ascension starts with Catholic baptism, weekly confession, and daily Eucharist, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm doing daily Eucharist. This was day 3 of having it on an empty stomach. I've not eaten in 3 days, which is what happens when the Lord kind of demands that you do it, and you have to do it because He wants to express better through me. And unless I tick a million boxes, I will not get a body upgrade. So all of these boxes ticking, it's usually confronting people. And it seems this is what I'm doing these days. I'm literally confronting, and it's nobody likes it, of course. And some people think they're smarter than me as well. So what else did I say here? The Lord's mantle of protection awaits all His prodigal children. So I never know who is baptized, who is not. But when I see somebody in distress, like a baby, and people around them are acting weird, awkward, dismissive, it just gets on my nerves. So yeah, I usually just go grab them. Not physically, but verbally. I have to address it, obviously, because there's nothing else I can do. I can't force anybody to do anything, so I have to kind of point out their errors. And it's usually not one error, because as soon as I start talking to them, they'll point out other errors as well. So I have to keep confronting from one error to another, to another, to another. So I end up talking like for 10 minutes with people, whether they like it or not. And sometimes I'm even walking behind them talking to people, which was the case of today. So I called the Lord's Court case a dysfunctional family, because I did not just deal with the baby crying, but then I dealt with the mother. And then she chose to send her drunk husband after me as well. So it kind of overflowed a little bit. Nothing happened physically, but obviously I ended up shouting quite a bit. Because obviously there's nobody um, who's got my back. It's just the Lord, and He's expecting me to behave in a specific way just by using my, um, I don't know, already developed character. So He's worked on me for 12,000 years. Before that, I was not even human. So, being in a human environment, you kind of have to learn to deal with humans. And like I said many times, this earth is part of hell. So, the humans I'm dealing with are not actually nice, pretty humans. They're just possessed. And they have to be reminded that there's high power there. Obviously, they're not going to believe that, but they're just going to be kind of tested at least. And based on the result of the testing, the Lord will kind of apply different things to them, because it's one thing to kind of like have a lapse and not react properly around children, for example. Um, and if you're tired and who knows what kind of brain dead, yes, that's fine. But if I point out your errors, the Lord expects you to behave differently, to change. So if you're not changing, you get punished. And I'm actually serious, because there's the universe is built on duality, and you can't turn your back on the Lord and be fine. Okay, because the Lord is the one warning you. And the warning has to be loud and clear, which is why I sometimes end up shouting. I am, by the way, the lion in the picture. So, the Lion of Judah, Mother Mary. And the Lord said that He will be touching the lion and the lion will roar. And the person who saw the visual was from YouTube. I did not invent any of it. I posted a similar picture before, but this one was tailored to the case of today. Um, Even to the grass you're seeing, it's yellow grass, it's dry, the baby was plonked on it. I wouldn't think it was comfortable at all because it was dry grass. We've got drought in the UK. And yeah, just like you're seeing, the mother and child, the other child, was actually even further away than this, I think, and was not responding to the baby and was completely uninterested in what the baby had to say. So obviously I had to come in. I don't think she perhaps didn't even hear the baby. I'm not sure. I can't really tell. But after I arrived there and I mentioned it, she still felt like she was entitled to her own opinion. So like she didn't really care if the baby was in distress, you know. She's fine, you know. That's what I got from her. So I thought, yeah, that is demonic possession if you think the crying baby is fine. Um, so I'm just gonna introduce you to the atmosphere a little bit. It's been a very windy day today. My cat stared at the window when I opened it. He was just there analyzing all the noise. The wind was making the noise the wind was making, comma, wondering what is going on, because cats have very good hearing, and I wondered what he was thinking about, and only later I realized it was the wind that he was very distracted by. But before that, I thought it was just the cars outside, but no, it wasn't. It was the wind. He had a lot of questions and question and exclamation marks around his head. So yeah, he looked really funny. He had almost no pupils. I couldn't see the pupils because it was quite bright outside. So he was just sitting there staring. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. Um, it felt like he was stuck in time in a way. So yeah, it's interesting to read the environment as well, because I had not expected this encounter at all. I did not think there would be a kite in it as well, just because it was windy outside. So the whole thing connected. Um, Perhaps I was being prepared to expect a kite, but the first thing I noticed was not the kite. It was the baby crying. So I thought, what? And I didn't even see the baby. I heard the baby from behind the bush because I was next to a field. So yeah, so I'm just gonna go for it. Hopefully, it will make sense and it helps you out understand where she's gone wrong, where the husband has gone wrong, and what the effects of a family as dysfunctional as this are, because I concluded at the end, and I have a pretty good case here. So I also said here that wind chases evil spirits away. So this is something I'm not even sure exactly. I've come across it more than once, actually. Christians in the past used to believe this. Um, I also think the American Indians believe it as well. So it used to be global. It used to be a personal thing people knew about. But I didn't know, and I came across it. I don't even know. I don't know if it was a channeling, but it was on YouTube for sure, and it was not too long ago, maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. And it stuck with me because it resonated true, and I usually collect truth to build on. So that's what I always do. So I left the house and almost walked clockwise, but then changed my mind. And after I crossed the road, I started walking anti-clockwise around the village. After the whole ordeal, I had a bath. So I'm just saying in the end what happened. Um, After everything, I had a bath, and the Lord pointed out that my resonance of ascension was created while walking 4 hours a day, every day, around a few villages in a huge anti-clockwise circle. So I'm just addressing this. It's not an obsession. Um, it's something the Lord has been building with me, because I started from the very beginning to walk anti-clockwise, and I realized after weeks that it was a giant circle. And circle represents the universe as well as the spiral of ascension. And my staff, I did not portray it, but I have a staff that symbolizes me being a guide to the whole universe on how to ascend back to heaven. And that is a anti-clockwise spiral. So I think that's why I started walking like that. So anyway, so every time I do this, if I'm walking in a circle, I have to do it anti-clockwise, because I don't want to undo what I've already created. Um, so he said that in its own, I don't hear him speak. He's just like present with me, and whatever I think about is actually him talking to me, sort of thing. I need to check if my cat is at the door at the moment. Okay, so he said, well, what the visual I got, I got a sort of partial visual, kind of like it looked kind of like a circle, but it was like a cylinder. There you go, a golden cylinder around me. So that in its own is like a support pillar for me. So yeah, I think cylinder would be the best way to describe it. Gold cylinder. I don't know if it's spelled like that or with the Y, actually, because it looks weird. It's usually, yeah, that looks better. Like a barrier against the demon possessed people, like the intoxicated one you will hear about in a minute. I was only given this knowledge after everything happened, so it was not there as an advance warning, but as an aftermath processing phase. So I was just having a bath, and then I clicked with a few things. Obviously, anything I click with, it's from the Lord. It's not from me, but He's showing me things based on what I already know, sort of thing. So he's always building on what I already have no experience, blah blah blah. But everything I'm given is always kind of like something new. It's different. It's something I've not seen or heard before. So to that was added the fast and my fasting, the fasting, I should say, because and having had the Eucharist 3 times now. So I'm just saying these things add up. So it's not just like a habit. It's more of a building blocks from the Lord. So if you're doing what he's telling you, he's just lining up the next phase and the next and the next and next. So that's how it works. It's always like that, because even the Lord did not receive, he was not resurrected until he did what he had to do, like be crucified, for example. Yeah, so you can't skip any phases of the guidance he wants to give you and whatever he demands from you, because it's not just, nothing is pretty, nothing is easy, nothing is to pamper you. So whenever the Lord tests you, it's just going to be uncomfortable. Everything will be uncomfortable. So even me confronting people, that's not comfortable to me. And it's not comfortable to them. So nobody's comfortable, but that's evolution. So you have to be facing your problem. Otherwise, you're not going to evolve. You're not going to be accepted in heaven. So yeah, this is what's happening right now, because he's separating goats from sheep. Like I said, this is exactly what's happening. Separating goats from sheep. So I should just write it here. Separating goats from sheep, because this is exactly what I'm constantly doing. Constantly. There's nothing else. Nothing else is happening in my life. I've got no life. I'm just constantly doing the basics, like exist, drink water, go to the mass, and everything else is just horrific stuff, Yeah, just I'm constantly faced with things I don't even want to know about. And that's why the Lord, I think that's why he's going to constantly erase my memory every morning, so I can still be sane, so that I don't have to process the past anymore, because it's so heavy and I can't deal with incoming if I'm constantly thinking back at the garbage that people throw at me. So yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? And the message about him erasing my memory came in 2019 the first time, and it came again this week through a channel from YouTube, which is called Christy. So people are channeling, but they have no idea who is it for, and they have no idea how it applies to them. It doesn't. None of it applies to them, but they're sharing it because they feel like sharing it. So I'm manifesting it by going out there and hearing it, and I'm thinking, that's interesting. When is it coming? What is it? Because I'm hearing about the events that have not even happened yet. But sometimes they're so close, they're like next day or next hour, but I get the heads up in advance. I don't know if I need it, but I don't know. Yeah. So here we go. Hopefully I won't stop talking. Reading this, because it's I want it to be flowing for you in your head. So ignorant, entitled, and abusive mother. On first glance, it doesn't look like that. It looks like somebody's having fun, right? Somebody's having fun, but somebody's being ignored here. I was walking around my village, uphill, I could say, huffing and puffing, because I haven't eaten in 3 days, when I heard a baby crying. But at the same time, I heard fun activities going on with people happy. So it was confusing. I thought, what's going on here? That's why I thought I would have a peek. I get to yet another metal gate. I mentioned metal gate in the past episode, when the deer got stuck in a gate. So it's literally the same kind of gate yet again. And they're everywhere in the countryside. British people have gates separating fields from roads, so that animals and people do not accidentally end up in the road when they shouldn't have, crashing events. So I got to a metal gate separating field from road. Now I noticed a little girl crying by herself. She was so tiny, and I said that I decided to go in and check what is going on, because because I saw people there as well, but nobody was paying attention to her. She was completely ignored. Um, I talked to her a little bit. She stopped crying, but was slightly rejecting me, so she was not happy at all. So I decided to just stay there until the mother, yeah, she really got on my nerves, decided, I quickly typed, I didn't want to think about it anymore. I just got on with it, to check me out because I think she expected me to come and go, but I wasn't leaving. So yeah, she decided to slowly drag herself to see what I was doing there. Because obviously the crying kid had zero value on her give attention scale. So yeah, she came to check on me, but did not come for the child, which I thought that was such a weird thing. Um, yeah, very disturbing actually. Why would she come to a grown up who doesn't need anything from her? Never met her, doesn't even care about her, but she came to check me out, did not come to the child. Because even when she did come in the area, continued to ignore her child. Um, her dog reached me first. He knew not to jump, so he kept jumping close to my face, but next to me, in form of respect. It was a well-trained black Cocker Spaniel. The mom was half unsure from the dog signals if she still needed. You know, there's like weird vibes here. But because I didn't get up to go, she eventually came. That delay in itself um, said to me that she's not with it. Yeah, she wasn't dealing with the situation properly, you know. I don't know if she was just in a weird mood because she was playing with the kite with the other kid, but I would never leave one behind. Never. I never did that. I had two kids. I didn't leave any behind ever. And my kids never cried because I was always there, you know. So I can't understand these behaviors. The child crying was not a signal to her. The dog being happy around me said to her that all is well. So I'm sure these things do go through people's heads, but the relationship with the child was weird. There was no connection there. She said hi. I said hi. I said child in distress. I didn't say hi. I didn't even feel like saying hi. I didn't feel like smiling or anything like that. I was so disappointed. She argued by saying shortly, she's fine. Obviously, I don't have the dialogue, the whole of it, because I was in so much distress. I just quickly typed up what I could remember. But yeah, hopefully you'll get the gist of what was going on. So yeah, she said she's fine. I corrected by saying no, she's not fine. Because I already said she's not fine. I said child in distress. Why she contradicted me with she's fine? That's so demonic. Why dismiss me if I'm telling the truth? Child in distress. So I corrected, she's not fine, which meant that the mother was blind and deaf. So I was talking to her. She was not looking at the child, paying attention to her. But she was not hearing me speaking the problem the child had either. So it's kind of like talking to a brick wall. The child was crying, which means she was in distress, or meant probably she was in distress, and that caused that in itself causes brain damage. She was all by herself, dumped there in the dry, spiky grass. This was her spot. I actually pointed this out with my hands. I said this was her spot. I was shouting, away from everyone having fun without her. She then said they were just over there. Yeah, I can see. I said that her brain is not fully developed. She doesn't see things like the mother. She just felt deserted and no one came. She stopped crying when I came. I did not, you did not come. So I had to confront her with the fact that one, she was missing out. Two, she was dismissive of the child's feelings. And the fact that I had to come to deal with her and stop her from crying, which I didn't mind. I don't mind that. It's just that she thought I'm an intruder. So she kept telling me to go away. Yeah, I forgot to say that. She then kept telling me to go away. On repeat. After a while, she started swearing at me. So yeah, how beautiful is that? I wouldn't call that a mother, right? She asked me where I live. I said on the moon. I'm the moon goddess, the mother of God. This is all symbolism. Obviously, people don't understand the word I'm saying, but all of it is true. Because why would anybody need to know where the hell I live? You know, where do I live? I live in hell with you right here, right now. What about it? You're not dealing with your hell, so I have to tell you about it. She then said, I don't have kids. I said, I do. So why would anybody tell me I don't have kids? That's so awkward. How could you even know anything about me? I just popped in because your child was crying, right? I said, I do, but mine never cried because I was always there for them. So see, whatever garbage they throw at me, I can turn it around because I do have the experience. I do have kids. And I did take care of them properly. My kids never cried. It's like they never did. Never cried. I always took them out. I always fed them on time, whatever, you know. And they've always been active. They were just real children, you know, never crying. She swore at me, of course. And then she told me not to shout in front of her children. Never mind the crying baby. It's me that's the problem, you know. So I thought, yeah, right. She packed her bags to leave while I told her to go study some psychology. And she replied that, in fact, she did study. So I'm like, oh my God. So this is my statement for that. A psychopath is psychologist. Well done. Just what people need on this planet. Yeah, this is who you go to. You go to people who don't even know how to take care of their own kids, let alone take care of you. I don't remember what else I said. Of course, I was disappointed. This is the second mother I encountered that is ignoring the second child to stay with her first. So it's happened before, and I dealt with it before as well. So this is not the first time. I think it's happening a lot in Britain. It's a British thing. The last case I had like this, I actually called the child service on because the caretaker, so I was not with the mother, I was the caretaker in the same space. It was a play session. And the baby was crying continuously and was not being picked up. And I thought, my God, this has never happened before, because I was running the actual play session. And it was just an hour. It wasn't taking long, but it was enough to know that people came and went, you know. I must have seen at least 50 mothers by then. And none of the children were unhappy. But this one, I thought, oh my gosh, who are you? Are you grandma? What are you doing here? No, I'm just a caretaker. The mother instructed me to not respond. Blah, blah, blah. Her son was psychologist as well. So there's something psychopathic about psychologists. Yeah, they must be instructed not to do certain things, which is demonic. So yeah, I just remembered that he was a psychologist. I have no idea why that woman told me about her grown-up son being a psychologist. No idea. But I'm linking it now with this. So the caretaker was instructed to ignore the cries of the baby who was, I picked her up. She was light as a feather. My God, that child was never fed. That's what it felt like. And she had such long limbs, I couldn't even age her. I couldn't tell what age she was. And I was told she was 6 months. And she was sitting on her bum already. I thought, my God, this is not even possible. It didn't feel like a real child at all. Too light, too long the limbs, and was sitting at 6 months. My kids never sat at 6 months. Maybe my second did. Maybe it's a second child thing. They can sit at 6 months, but my first didn't. So, yeah. So the mother instructed her to not pick up the child, because when she has things to do with the older daughter, she does the same. She ignores the second child because she's busy with and she sometimes apparently leaves the room as well and dumps the child there behind her to cry. It's okay to cry these days, man, in this country. I've not seen this happen in Romania, but I was 22 when I left, so I couldn't really say. Um, and I lived in a campus, like a student, student campus in America just for a year, so it wasn't long. So I never actually dealt with children and mothers until I came to the UK and was a mother myself. And my children were old enough so I can actually have like the experience of dealing with cases like these. So yeah, um it was weird. It was kind of like as I was typing, I remembered this other encounter because I forgot about it. I'm constantly forgetting about things because they're so traumatizing. Um, so, and there's another case that came to my mind. A vampy caretaker. I call her vampy because I could tell she's blank. She's like no soul in her. And the way she was speaking as well, she was like deviating from conversations or keeping it short, stuff like that. So I thought whenever people do that, then they're not spilling out their guts, talking, not sharing much. You know for sure they're hiding stuff. I always know that. So the caretaker grabbed the boy child in question's arm, roughly to make him obey. He said "ow," and they were in the changing room in the primary school. This is years back. I don't know, 15, about 10 years ago. So I reported it to the head teacher because I couldn't keep it in. I just couldn't. It was just chewing on me. and and knew that she did pass it on because the child's mother changed how she talked to me or around me or something. Kind of like there was a vibe around her, like she understood or knew what I did for her afterwards. So we were not close, but I know she solved the issue. I could sense the vibe she had around me. So yeah, it was interesting. She was quite a gentle person, but obviously quite busy with her career because I'm living in a fairly rich area. Millionaires, obviously, to live near the Thames in a village. It's kind of posh. And so yeah, these people have to work their asses off and actually have higher up careers, like managing people and um, high end jobs, like I don't know, director, programmer, stuff like that, but not like bottom programmer. It's something more like financial related. Yeah, so finance wins around here, close to London. Um, and I made a comment here. Now I know why the Lord said, I already saved 8 souls without even knowing it a few months ago. So I came across that and I thought, 8 souls? I didn't know that. It was a channel message I found on YouTube, which made me wonder. That channeler either blocked me or deleted her account or renamed it because I have not found her after I left a few messages. Shame. Um, because I was trying to help her heal herself. But obviously, people do not care about stuff like that. So shame. Humans have no idea they're playing with the devil every time they reject me. So yeah, every time I interface with somebody, if they're rejecting me, they will be attacked. Because the devil knows who I am, and yeah. So yeah, whatever information they process, um, as soon as they decide to reject the truth, um, the devil is allowed to take over and attack them or test them or whatever it is, make them sink into hell a bit more. So yeah, it's very dangerous. So yeah, back to the story. She insulted me with the F word again. So I ended with the Queen of the Universe insulted by a wretched. I could say witch as well, because when you are destroying people like that, people you're supposed to love, people who live in the same house with you. She also said something like, "I know because she's my child. She's fine." No, she's not. So yeah, such lies, lying to my face. Um, I know she is fine. She is my child. How could you say that? Such a weird thing to say. If she's crying, how is she fine? If I made somebody cry and they were adults, would you say it's all fine? Would you go to the adult and say, pat pat, you're fine? You would feel it. You would understand that something's not good, and you would kind of come against me if I'm the one who um, the perpetrator. So yeah, just think it through. But I don't think she had a brain. It felt like she's like, I don't know, half dead. Um, and I said she did have quite a strong demonic opposition. She must be highly regarded in the society or something like that. The vibe was weird because she felt like she was fighting me strongly. Otherwise, she would have reacted to my comments more humbly, and would have accepted her fault a bit more, or I would have at least felt fear from her. Yeah, because sometimes people react differently. So, fight or flight, yeah? So, what is it? She was fighting me, but in a demonic way. She was not like fighting to save somebody, she was fighting to continue attacking her child, you know? Yeah, it's very wrong. Um, She was very well established in her rituals. Ritual, I just mean whatever she was doing. Destroying her child, right? Ignoring her. She marched on with her demons just fine. Yeah, she was just fine. She was, and packed her bags and left. And I kept, following her. I should say that. She packed her bags. But I continued to follow her because it felt like my message was not heard at all. Yeah, so I wondered what's going to happen with that child if she's still ignoring her. It will not evolve into a normal person. And I'll prove to you at the end. What happens? She gets home because she lived around the corner, literally. Tells her husband whatever because I think she lied to him. She must have given him some sort of garbage. And then he got angry and came out driving after me. Can you imagine that? Being chased by a drunken person. A man, not a woman, because I could probably fight a woman, but a man, no, they've got bigger muscles. And if they're drunk, they're definitely not reliable. So he caught up with me in his car. I was walking the whole time because this is like an hour walk for me. I need it or I die at my desk. Stopped the car, shouted, hey at me. Hey, he was serious. And I was like, oh my God, what's this? What does he need? Because I only tried to protect the child and make the woman aware of what she was doing. She was evil. But yeah, she just sent her drunken husband after me. She couldn't fight me. She had 2 kids. But yeah, she sent the evil man after. So he stunk like alcohol hell because he was right in my face. He was wearing glasses, which means his eyesight was not good, which is very rare for men. I hardly ever see it. Very rare for men. Because I'll tell you why. Because men have more muscle mass and they have a bigger heart and they pump blood upstream better than women. Okay? That means the eye remains in a much better state. And men have testosterone higher up as well, which means they're more active physically. So that means they're active, they're pumping their hearts are bigger, muscles more on the body. And that means the liquid go upstream better, the fluids, any fluids, blood, yeah, to supply oxygen to the eye. So it's more rare for a man to have glasses or to be blind or to have some extreme illnesses. Usually it's caused by sugar. So if they're sugar addicts, they usually have, oh man, here it is, sugar addiction or acid, because sugar is an acid of any other kind equal alcohol. There it is. So yeah, it was from alcohol, which is what I thought, but I didn't think of it as an acid, but now I know. Okay, yeah, so it was from alcohol. So he's an alcoholic. Imagine an alcoholic chasing after you. Fantastic, right? Kind of like a street dog from Romania, where they just bark and show their teeth and they're almost ready to eat you. Um, so it does happen with people born ill, sinful of ill and sinful women. He was quite short as well. He was my height, which is not good because um, shorter men usually have inferiority complex. Um, I've noticed it, and it's always the same. Literally, always the same. They always have the same issue. So him fighting a woman is okay. It's safe. He will not go against a man. Okay. So he felt safe to chase after me, which is why he was so cocky. You know, he was like, um, swear after swear after swear after swear. He didn't actually have normal person sentences. It was like a chain of swear words, like I don't know, about 10 of them in a row. He couldn't actually speak. He had no vocabulary. So that's how basic he was. So a psychologist married to a drunken person who can't speak properly. There you go. That was the family. Wow. I was definitely not impressed. And she thought she was smart. So I don't know. How is that possible? Um, So yeah, some men, people in general, born of ill or sinful women, which means, or I could say, unbaptized women, part of a long lineage of unbaptized people, right? So it's genetic. So the lower down your genetics go, you're screwed, because the next generation will come even more screwed than your generation, you know. Like I said, simply from alcohol. So yeah, these are all causes of what could have been with him. So I said he was clearly a demon portal. I need to mention the height, short man, inferiority complex, because it all adds up. It's all linked. It's not that simple. You have to have all these elements in your mind to be aware that, yeah, he's quite a dangerous man. But he was definitely a coward because he was not spending his time with the family. He was away separate, drinking. Like, that's the thing. He does it on Sunday because it's a special day, you know, the Lord's Day. People just go and drink. Yeah, obviously a very unreliable man. Definitely not a dad. Obviously, if he's chasing after a woman that can't even defend herself, yeah, completely backwards. These two were completely backwards. Um, so his main priority was the vengeance of his exemplary wife. From what he said, I can't replicate everything he said because it was quite a dialogue between both of them, and I had to memorize as much as I could. And I just came home and put it down on paper because otherwise I would have forgotten everything. Oh, goodness. I said that the wife obviously felt guilty after I roared at her and did not tell him the whole story. I don't think, because why was he talking about his wife the whole time when actually it was all about the baby? Hello, the baby in the picture. Nobody sees the baby. The wife couldn't see the baby. The husband couldn't see the baby. Obviously, the kid is trained not to see the baby, the older brother. And the dog is just, what's with the dog? Dog doesn't know anything. Dogs are toddlers. Animals, all animals in the universe are just toddler age, you know. So they're not like, they're not gonna understand things very well, you know, especially if they're not trained to. There are some smart animals, but It's all basic, they don't have a long attention span and all sorts of stuff like that. So anyway, um, I had to remind him a few times I don't care about his wife. I repeatedly said the child. So everything I said to him was repetitive because he was not hearing and he was just swearing the whole time. So I was like, okay, well, this is not going anywhere. He probably expected to be alone in the house for a while, but because she popped back in not long after she left, it felt like that. Um, this this may have triggered him a bit. Probably because she only just got there, that's why she didn't feel like confronting me right away. And that's why she did not respond to her baby. Because maybe for her, it felt like I just got here. Can I just get a minute? But obviously, if the child is in distress, everything's happening in the wrong order. And it's not you who is priority. And having fun with the kite is the baby. Why are people just dumping babies all the time? So he obviously didn't need much to come after me. So the whole thing was already pre-planned. It was all wrong already. I wonder if she did a weeping episode for him. If she did, she's definitely pathetic. Because why would anybody... Well, she's a psychologist, so you never know. Yeah, because that's how people manipulate others to get what they want, right? Yeah, it's possible. It came to my mind. That's why I put it down. Because if it wouldn't have come to me, and I don't have interests like that. I don't... and it's possible the Lord suggested it to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have thought of it because I'm not interested in this kind of dualistic relationships and witchcraft and stuff. I'm too serious for this, But it just came to me, so I put it down just in case it helps somebody realize something, because I don't need it. I'm just there to mirror people, to point out their errors, I don't care about them. I'm just there to help, but I'm not there to mimic them or to learn from them or to put them on a pedestal. Do you understand what I mean? That's not my interest in people. It's not like that. So yeah, from that respect, I don't care about them. From the respect of let's fix a problem, yes, I do care. That's what I mean. So if he were in a right state of mind at 3:30 p.m. on a Sunday, he would have not dumped the family to stuff his face with alcohol. He was fresh. I could smell it. That's why he was in my face, because the Lord wanted me to smell him. It's ridiculous. And I said to him, you're drunk, you're drunk, you're drunk, you're drunk, you're drunk. And I said, that is demonic possession. But I had to keep repeating to him because he was not paying attention. He just wanted to swear at me and to let me know that he's like the boss in the household or something like that. And that's, again, going back to being a short man, yeah, definitely wrongly directed bossiness. What was I saying here? Forgot. He had a northerner accent, which is always a bad news. Those people are mostly below average when it comes to IQ and interest. It's a whole much bigger canvas. I'm not generalizing. I'm just saying what's happening up north in the UK. They're very damaged people who mostly lived in poverty and are almost always laborers, but not the good kind. Yeah, so it revolves around alcoholism. Heavy duty alcoholism, which is demonic possession. I think that's what I was trying to say earlier. Demonic possession. To write it down for you. The drunken kind. So yeah, never mix with people who drink every day or drink in general. He constantly insulted me as if he could not speak in proper sentences. After asked me where I live, I said here. Then he told me yeah, it's the second one. Why did they both ask me where I live? What's that about? Who cares? It's about the crying baby, not where I live. The first one was answered with something more cryptic. I'm the the god, the moon goddess. So yeah. But this guy again asked me the same question, and I said, um, I'm from here, so here. This is where I live. I live here. Who cares where I live? I also said that as well. I don't know. I don't get it. What's with these people? He then asked me my name. It's like, what? Here we go again. So I had to confirm what I said to her. I said, I'm Mother Mary. So he was like, on and on and on, because you're not like this and you're not like that. You're just like this. He was saying to me that um I'm not a good mother if I am a mother. So I'm like, yeah, how would you know? You're not even a mother, so how could you compare? Um, then he told me I don't have kids, like he knows better. Of course, I have kids. I already mentioned multiple times I have two daughters, so I'm clearly not lying. They're teenagers. Well, one is 12. She just turned 12, so it's kind of like a teenager, right? The other one is 15, so yeah, they're big kids. They're not 1-year-olds sitting by themselves crying in a field. I told him he was not told the whole story. I was worried about the child who was crying by herself. He kept going on about how great a mother his wife is, and I should stay away from her. I was like, I give a shit about the mother. I don't care. Has nothing to do with the wife. The wife was bonkers, and he was too. So yeah, complete disaster. I then said that the second child is always the one ignored in this country. He then said, I'm not British. I said, of course I am. Obviously, I'm naturalized. I've been here for 20 years, so I am British. I do have paperwork. I do have British citizenship. I wasn't born here. I don't have to be born here to be British. But I don't know. What's wrong with these people? Who cares what nationality you are? The problem is still the child. He just kept trying to pick on me. He asked my name. I said Mother Mary. I did worry he might punch me because drunk men arguing with women are up to no good. Yeah, it's always the devil just pulling the strings, right? But the Lord denied the possibility, so I kept on going. I do roar like a lion. They both got on my nerves, and all the poor girl wanted was some personalized attention. She was about a year old, which is why I have a baby here. Yeah, especially when they're so tiny. Why are you dumping them? I noticed I repeated every sentence I told the guy a few times on and on because he was not listening to me and not concluding anything right. He was intoxicated and kept saying, none of this is my business. Really. Um, as if he knew what happened or he was there and fully conscious. So yeah, he knew nothing, but he came after me. What's the point in that? He tried to end the fight a few times but I kept finding myself contradicting him. So I don't let go that easily. If I'm mirroring, I'm in a special kind of mode. I'm in Jesus mode. I don't account for your garbage. I'm just going to keep going, right? So in the end, he gave up and said he knows my face now. Okay, whatever. I said, who cares what my face looks like? I didn't feel like I was joking this time. Of course, I'm laughing now because it's gone, it's past, it's erased now. But I was very serious the whole time. So composed and trying to get through to him, but he was just a waste of space. Um, so now I'm just posting this again. The channeling I found on YouTube the other day came true because this is what the Lord was talking about. And I posted this in the previous episode, which I only filmed one part. I think it's going to be 3 parts. I'm going to wait to post this one until I filmed everything for the other one. As you see, the tabs here, episode 25, is not finished. So, yeah, I have to film it. I've got all the photography and everything, but I haven't read it. I haven't filmed it, so this message is actually repeating because I'm just letting you know. I've got the short link here if you want to look it up. It's actually real. People are channeling about me. but it's cryptic. They don't understand it. And sometimes I have to interpret it a few times, write it down, understand it, process it. And usually I still have gaps and don't understand what it's about. That's because the event had not happened yet. But the channeling, I went through it yesterday, edited it and talked about it, filmed it. And guess what? Today it happened. So I'm posting it again because this has different meaning to me now. He was literally pointing out what he was going to bring to me. And I didn't even know. I kept thinking what is it? Because I have no people around me. I have just the church people, but I don't know them. So I'm not going to, how am I going to interact with anybody? It was random, strange people with the child in distress. It was random. I couldn't have predicted this in a million years. And this is what the Lord said. Um, he's talking about me the whole time. She's called to greatness. Please tell her the joy of my life. No more shrinking back, beloved. It is my joy to give you my kingdom. He's talking about people, humans, okay? So I have to take care of them because that's my role. I'm the guide of humanity. Assignments are coming to you for you more and more. Keep walking, keep going. It gets better and better. Not sure in what way, but yeah. Probably for me and how I react to people because it's a lot. I will take you from glory to glory. Where I'm taking you, the enemy cannot touch you, which is nice to know because even then, as I was confronting the drunken guy, I kept wondering because my dad was an alcoholic as well. So I had to stand up for my mother because she got slapped, and I heard it from the other room because I was next door. And so I came out, I was so angry, and I said, "Did you just slap her?" He said, "No." I asked her, "Did he just slap you?" "Yes." So there you go. I spotted the lie because I heard the slap. So I thought, man, and it was the first slap I ever had in my ears. I never heard anybody slap anybody before. Well, actually, interesting. I don't know if it was before or after. I had an accident at karate because I used to do karate, and a kid slapped me in the left ear, and I'm still not hearing 100% with it. I could say it's 90%, but it's not 100%. I don't know if that was a precursor to what my mom was going through. But I lost my balance when it happened to me. I fell on the floor and it took me minutes to come back to consciousness. I was conscious, but not enough to actually have balance. I couldn't get up. I just couldn't get up at all. Because he slapped me exactly flat on the ear. So that's the most dangerous because it's disturbing the, what do you call it? The little tissue that is blocking things from coming inside the inner ear, right? I can't think what it's called. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I've experienced it myself through an accident, which was not an accident because the kid was really up to no good. He was a nasty kid. And I didn't expect it because my reactions, when you're starving, because I was a starved child my whole life, when you're low energy, you do not react fast enough. But this kid was well fed and he just wanted to slap me in the ear. You know, I think he was testing out some theory. And I couldn't catch it. I didn't. I was trained for karate because I enjoyed the movement. It was kind of like ballet, but I did not like the violent side and I never cared for it. And I never went to tournaments or anything like that. I just wasn't interested. I just liked it as a movement, you know, like moving the body. I did yoga as well, like Kundalini yoga, which was interesting, was good. But I never had any attachment to anything to do with demonic. So the demonic side was never my interest. It was always just like movement, you know, like water movement sort of thing, if you get it. And I am the water goddess. So imagine that as a water movement, not as a violent activity. There you go. That makes sense, right? So yeah, I was slapped in the ear. My mother was slapped on the face. And now it's kind of like I'm picking up on people's violence in a different way. So I'm reacting differently, and I expect people to slap me in the face. So I was afraid that he might do that, but he didn't. So, but the Lord said, I mean, enemy cannot touch me. So this is interesting. I have to constantly remember that, because that is my only strength, because my past did not give me strength. Even though I was the same in the past and I did stand up for people, but a lot of the times it felt like it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Nothing's changing. Nothing's happening, you know. So yeah, I'm back to that same old, you know. I'm just dealing with people again, which is a lot. So back to what the Lord is saying. You are walking a secluded path, which is interesting, because nobody's dealing with what I'm dealing, because nobody is the mirror of the world. I should state that. The mirror of the world. And I know that because when St. Francis of Assisi, which is me, 13th century, when he was born, his mother was told by an angel, the mirror of the world is born. So it was an important event, because he was there to reinstate the Catholic Church, because it was crumbling. So that was my first big redemptive lifetime to save the Catholic Church. The second one was St. Padre Pio, which he died in 88, because I was 60 years old in this lifetime. So yeah, this is the first, second, and third wobble of the Catholic Church. So being the mirror of the world is always to do with confronting people. I should write it down. Always confronting people. And it's hard work, because it's not pleasant. It's not a pleasant job. It's not a pleasant way, the way they react to me. Nothing's pleasant. Nobody's happy when I do it. Except the Lord. He's clapping, right? I'm not clapping. I'm just like in it and then out, in, out, in, out. And then he says, I find you thrilling. I find you intoxicating. I remembered he said that, because I was thinking about the fact that what's he trying to say? What is that? I thought it was a clue for something. And I think it was, because I linked it. I'll tell you what I linked with having had wine with the Eucharist for the second time. And I was analyzing that, because going back, there are churches here, local Catholic churches, that are only serving the wafer. And that's incomplete Eucharist. It's incomplete. They're doing the ritual only halfway. So I linked it to that. And then the second link came later, after I dealt with the drunken guy. So you see, again, multidimensionality. It's he will use a word, but it will mean so many things. It will mean like this, that, and the other. And I can write a whole essay, 1,000 words on this line alone, and he just gave me a word. So yeah, it's quite complex. And then he says, I'm sending you places, here we go, so that other people, here we go, can behold your beauty, which is my beauty. Which is what? It's to do with confronting people, telling them the truth. Telling people the truth about themselves. That's it. That's what he's talking about. That's what beauty is. Mirroring. Because if you remember, the Lord had to confront the people selling all sorts of things in the temple. So that's 2,000 years ago. He was doing what I'm doing now. And I have to copy him, because that's the only way to ascend, to be one with him. I can't be a queen if I can't deal with people the way he deals with people. I have to be like his twin, right? Twin Messiah. And then he goes on, because I shine my light, my love through you effortlessly, And you need to know how bright you are. You are so bright. I have lit your lamp and will not hide you any longer. There's no choice about it. My love is exposing you. The greatness that I have birthed in you, I'm exposing it to the world, and you cannot escape it. I've overtaken you with my love. Let me scroll. Oops. I have transformed your beautiful heart that you just can't help it anymore. You just love everywhere you go, and I just play your heartstrings like a violin. And when I start playing your heartstrings and you see someone, there you go, the baby. I saw you. And you're just overtaken with the compassion of God. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And it's like I'm right there loving the person myself. Sweet, huh? You're moved by compassion, you're drawn by compassion, and that is your compass to know who to minister to and who to love. And you do this so beautifully. You're such a beautiful ambassador for my kingdom, genuine, kind, compassionate, loving, filled with grace. Filled with grace that takes you back to the Bible. Hail Mary, full of grace. But actually, full of grace is a title. And she was never addressed as Mary. So the actual Bible verse is Hail, full of grace. And that's Mother Mary. And even if you pick up this, and you will understand that it's talking about Mother Mary, but nobody accepts it. Nobody accepts that is me. You are filled with grace, or that the Lord is talking to me. You know, if you told this to a Catholic, they don't even believe I exist, because apparently I ascended to heaven, which is somewhere in a cloud or something. You are filled with grace because you are filled with me. You just spread that love to people that are lost, broken, hurting, and lonely. That's exactly what was going on here. Hurting and lonely. And your heart breaks because it's my heart. So do you think you are not qualified? Because I had no idea what's coming. So yeah, when I don't know what's coming, I think I'm not qualified. And then it's happening and I'm like on fire and trying to chop heads off. You think you're not good enough. You're exactly who I have chosen, and you are going for me in a big way, beloved. Beloved translates to Davidic, Queen of Heaven. For those who don't know, I'm so proud of you. Obviously, nobody ever tells me that. And depending on who's translating, the message will say things that they are familiar with, right? Don't be surprised when things start to change. And I said, oops. When things start to turn around and you find yourself speaking on a stage. There'll be a lot of erasing of memory for me to get on a stage. Don't be surprised when you find yourself invited by someone to come and give your testimony. Obviously, I gave my testimony today by stating the truth and by stating who I am as well. So everything goes hand in hand, because I'm not just talking, it is a testimony. It's my presence. And I'm not alone. I'm with the Lord. And everybody's so rude to me all the time, which is incredible. I'm just looking and thinking, what are you doing? Digging a bigger hole than the one you're in. When I put you in that place of prominence, do not be surprised. I need them to look at you. I had my tinted glasses on when I talked to the woman, but took my glasses off when I talked to the man, which was interesting, because it felt like, because he was so in my face that I took my glasses off, it felt like I had to do it. But I did not connect it to the Lord at all. I just thought, man, let me look at you properly. Because when they look at you, they see me. You are the representation of Christ on earth with the Holy Spirit living through you. If you shrink back and hide, that's not my will. So he's telling me exactly what I should not do. So I should not be a coward, because then everything will turn against me and it will turn into a disaster. But if I stand straight, he's got my back. Yes, I should write it down, right? Because it's quite important for me to remember, right? If I stand straight, he will have my back. So I won't be falling backwards. I wanted to see that. I want them to see you. I want them to look into your eyes. This is why I said I had my glasses on. So, interesting. Because your eyes are floodlights to my love. They are floodlights of heaven. When they look into your eyes, healing happens. Does it? Honey. Honey. Anointing. Anointed. Your tears heal, your hugs comfort and heal, glory is released. You live a life of glory, you are glory carrier for my kingdom, and I'm exposing you to the world around you in the best of ways. Very interesting. But it's actually hard work. It's draining. I'm half dead now. Plus I've not eaten in 3 days. So you can imagine I'm like walking dead. The Lord also said that he has a good plan. Yeah, he said that a few days ago through somebody else. Of course, I never received the same kind of messages from him. From him, I just get stuff on how to explain things, what's the missing link, how to perceive this, how to perceive that, how to explain it, what to give to people, what's best to do in this case, or what's missing from the picture, question this, question that. So it's different. It's with me, it's like in more depth. It's like there's no surface talk. And he's not talking. It's just suggesting things in my mind, which is interesting, right? Afterthought. I'm almost ready now. After I finished typing, I realized that this is exactly how mothers instill gender inequality in their children. From the earliest stages of development. Of course, it is demonic, but why can't they just see it? Because I never did any of that. The boy was learning that he's above his sister, which is rude, because men always think that they're above women when they're not, because women mutate faster. Women can self-clone. Did you know that? Men can't. They can't self-clone. Nothing. But women in Pleiades can, if they're 7 density, they self-clone. And the child is literally identical to the mother and shares the same soul. It's literally themselves again, And sometimes it happens before the mother is about to die. So it's kind of like an Arcturian trait. They have the same sort of thing going on. But you have to be 7 density, so you have to be quite advanced compared to what's going on Earth, So the boy was learning that he's above his sister, whom no one cared about, while the little baby girl was learning that no matter how much she's calling, crying, expressing, no one will ever come to her aid. Why? Because why do I use the word ever? Oops, what's that? Ever. Did you see what I posted there? I said always. It's because I transformed it so that she'll always be answered from now on. That's so cute. I hope so. Children do not understand time. So for them, the moment is eternal. And that's how the Lord, wow, it's a bit. Sorry, I had to compose. Um, so So to the baby girl, in that moment, she had that feedback loop where she understood that no one's gonna come. So I explained that um, so babies and young children do not have a sense of time and space, and that applies to everybody in the lower realms. Like I said, I should say lower realms because this does not apply to higher consciousness children. In lower realms, because the higher up you go, you're born conscious. You're not empty. You're not coming in with no memory at all, and you're not programmable anymore the higher up you go. Because I'm a seraphim, and my race is always born as a miniature adult, fully functional. And we also clone ourselves inside our bellies. We create a new clone for ourselves, whether the parent of the clone dies or not. Because sometimes we just expand, create more of ourselves because we need more handy support. Somebody who can do the same task or a different task going towards the same goal. So yeah, the seraphims are the highest creature, which is my race, which is the Arcturians. We do not exist like humans. We're just not like you at all. We're never helpless. We're just born adults. Straight out, we're adults. And we do carry the baby, which is not a baby, it's a miniature adult, in our own bellies. So we kind of give birth. We don't give birth the same way. We actually have a pouch like a kangaroo, and the miniature adult comes through it. But I'm just saying it's still like new life, it's still small. It's still kind of like a baby, but it doesn't think or act the same. It's not helpless. It's not like a human. So that's why I said just in lower realms, because it doesn't apply to Arcturians at all. It never did, never will, because the Arcturian race never descended through original sin. Original sin punishes you and punishes you and punishes you. And humans on earth are still multiplying like that, but it's demonic. So stop doing it. You will reach the seventh density and you will self-clone. You don't need a partner for that. And I don't think there are men in higher realms for the human race because they don't self-clone. So how they exist if the clone is always a woman, right? So that's evolution of this race. That's why Mother Mary is so important, because she's the new Eve. She created the clone that is Jesus. Jesus is me. But he's not like me. He's human. He's human, but he's not just human. He's God, while I'm not God. Do you understand? But he takes my genetics because it's an immaculate conception. And the Eucharistic, this is the Eucharist, the wafer. The wafer sometimes turns to real flesh and real blood. It's the Lord's doing, obviously. It's a miracle. He knows how it's done. It's just matter to him. It's matter, but because he can turn matter into other matter and stuff like that. He can do that with a wafer made of wheat. Um, and it's just for people to understand what it all means. So it was proven that his genetics has only one X chromosome, which is the mother chromosome. Does not have a Y chromosome from a male. And he's my duplicate, but he doesn't look feminine. He doesn't look like a woman. He looks like a man because God represents the masculine energy. Um, so yeah, it's all interesting because he can only be born from someone who's originally Arcturian, which is why I'm saying the Arcturians did not descend from the original sin, specifically for him to come and save other races. Um, and it's self-cloning. That's how his body is created, by me self-cloning for him to come in, right? I know this is complex biology, but you will be, if you're ascending, you'll be joining the galactics, and that's where the heaven is. Heaven is not a fluffy cloud. You will always have a body, and you will always incarnate into this race and then return to whatever other race your soul belongs to, because some of us are cat people. Me and the Lord incarnated in all the fallen races. That's why I'm symbolized with the lion, because I think I'm probably directly coming from the lion race to be human, because the lion race descended as well through sin and original sin, and they're bipedal. They're not like this. This is like a basic lion. The lion people look like a lion, but they're bipedal. It can also run like a normal lion. And also things, they're much bigger. They're 3 meters tall. They're huge, and they can just destroy you in a second. I'm just explaining lower realms. So time and space takes time, many years to develop, and a lot of programming which is achieved in the schooling system, which is reptilian. The reptiles, those just want to use and abuse you and eat you because they eat human flesh. That's why they're here. If you were not useful to them, they wouldn't use and abuse and whatever you. And the schooling system is used to program you to behave the way they want you to, to keep on going downhill into hell, because they run hell. It's theirs. So this earth is part of hell. That's why the Freemasons, which represent, they're reptilian souls, they're evil. And the schooling system was created by them to force children out of their natural fluid state. Again, I'm mentioning fluidity because it's all about the water in the body, and the universe is inside the water. It's called ether. It's a liquid. You always breathe ether. You're breathing in liquid. There is no such thing as air devoid of water. It doesn't exist. It never existed. There's no void. Void does not exist. It might exist for God, but it doesn't exist for you because you're inside the ether, inside the liquid. So you'll never come out of it, ever. It's not possible. Because you're a creature. So you have no, you do not exist outside of the ether liquid. Okay. So yeah, that's why I'm using the word fluid. And that's why I'm the water goddess, because I am the guide of the entire universe. The entire universe. There's no creature above me. So that's what this fluidity comes from. And that's why my title is Water Goddess, and connection to moon and moon tides, in and out and whatever. And the moon in orbit is a ship. I mentioned it before. It's Andromedan. It was built by me with the Andromedans. And it's more than 12,000 years old. But it was placed in Earth orbit because apparently a planet was destroyed here, and it made the solar system out of balance. So there was a need for a counterbalance, and that's what the moon is. It has a hologram in front of it. That's why you see it the way you think there's land on it, but it's actually just a shiny metal ball. That's pretty much it. And it's got 144 layers, kind of like an onion, and each layer has a different ecosystem in it. But the ship is no longer in use. It's just being used to help separate goats from sheep. So the souls that come in here do not come out unless they deserve to, unless they've evolved to the degree was required by the Lord for them to upgrade to return where they should return and stuff like that. So everything's controlled by the Lord. I do not do anything on my own, and so on. It's complicated because the universe has to be kept in a state of balance, and I always have to do His will. Otherwise, it will not be in balance anymore. And that's why I'm separated from all the other creatures, including my race, because I am the highest Arcturian. There's nobody above me, so I'm kind of like the queen of the entire universe and even my race. I don't even know why I'm going on that tangent, but anyway. I'm just saying it's complicated because you're not galactic right now, but Ascension to the New Earth, which happens at the end of 2029, will take only a third of the souls, and they will be tested. Whoever is not baptized Catholic will not stay, because the World War III, which is in 2038, will just flatten the place out, and only a few souls will be left. And it doesn't matter if you die or not die, but if you do not belong on Earth, you will not be born again on Earth. Do you understand? Yes, it's not good to put children in school. They will not exist anymore after we're on the New Earth, because they're forcing children to be in a rigid state, rigid body. They're not allowed to move about for 6 hours a day, which is torture, of course. I didn't even write that, but it came to my mind. Torture. It's a way of torturing the body to become possessed, to allow demonic possession, because the Lord wants creatures to move freely, right? The Lord will never say take your kids to school. That's retarded. It's not. It's demonic. It's you're just believing it's good for them, but it's actually not. It never was. It will never be. So me and him will change the whole system. Everything on the New Earth after the fire baptism, which is the World War III, and like I said, 2038. Only the worthy will remain. So he will return around 2082 in people's perception. He'll be born in 49-ish. But he will only show himself at the age of 33, because that's what he said. He will come back. And there's no point in him showing himself to you until he's ready to crown me. And 33 is a symbol for Merkaba, which is 2 triangles overlapping. So that's the highest soul, which is me, and the God spirit, which is him. So everything's symbolic. He's not going to show himself to you before the age of 33. And then I said tracking time is not needed. Again, I'm speaking about the New Earth here. When you're enjoying life, while space becomes more expanded as the brain develops. So yeah, the child was not understanding any of this. They don't have the notion of anything, especially at 1 year old. They just became dependent more and more of the mother. So imagine building dependence, and then being dumped in a field out of the blue. Of course she was distressed, right? Okay, so how could a mother think her child is okay if she's crying? Isn't crying a sign that something is wrong? I was so right to call this woman a psychopath. A psychopath is somebody who's just damaging other people without any regard for their feelings and stuff. So that's what it means. It's not complicated to understand what that is. Simple, right? Most people on Earth are like that. Another term for psychopath is demon portal. That's what the Pleiadians used in their written communication, which took place for about 7 years. And the Lord allowed it so that I could receive a lot of information to kind of get a bigger picture of what's going on Earth. As soon as they were not needed anymore, they were cut off. So yeah. There's quite a few royals in orbit. There's the cat royals, the Pleiadian royals. There's another human royals. There's a few, because it's not just Pleiades that is represented here. There's quite a few other star systems and other races, but they've not talked about other races. There's the Andromedans here. Arcturians arrived not long ago, which is my race. And they're watching the race being reborn, which is a big deal, because your humanity is re-entering heaven. That's what the new Earth is. It's huge, because it's like being welcomed into the living universe again, being servants to God, because that's why he creates so many creatures, because he wants to make people happy. But if they don't want to be happy, what happens if they don't want to be happy? They end up in hell. And then I said, such a destructive behavior. So yeah, I did not like what I saw. And then I said, I guess my village is my battlefield. I was a confessor, guide, and doctor in my past life. I had powers, actually, amazing powers. I could teleport, bilocate, whatever. I was everywhere. I could read souls. I can read now, but it's a more basic skill I have right now. That's why the Lord says, I'll take you from glory to glory, because I have powers beyond human imagination, way beyond. I can fly and all sorts of things. I can turn into a sun. I can, way beyond. I control water. I can do all kinds of things. So far in this lifetime, all the Lord wants me to be is a nursery rhyme that he just gave me. So it came in my mind. I thought I was done writing, and then he gave me some more. So Mary, Mary, quite contrary. This actually popped in my head before, and I thought, oh my God, this is me. They're singing about me, and they don't even know. So Mary, Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? What garden? The human garden, yeah. I'm growing. I'm returning souls to the Lord. That's his garden. I'm bringing you back to him. With silver bells and cockle shells, pretty maids all in a row. So I looked up the symbology, because every word used, it actually means something. This is a British nursery rhyme. British. I don't think you have it. Nobody else has it, I don't think. Except obviously people left Britain and moved to America and stuff like that. So you might have it. I don't know. I did not actually spend time with children when I was there. I was just in a campus student. Contrary, against Freemason, demonic, reptilian, Benjamites. So it's possible that this rhyme was created by the Freemasons to show off their smarts to you who are unconscious completely. We don't know. I'm just guessing. Because why would they talk about me being contrary, Because I'm against them. Because they're demonic and I'm divine. Garden, saved souls, my vine will grow on you. It's something the Lord said. And he's the gardener, I should add. The Lord is the gardener. The Lord is... I was trying to fit the writing in one row. Silver bells, joy, the holiday season, Davidic dynasty, purity, being immaculate, no original sin. Cockle shells, Stella Maris is one of my titles. Mother Mary, Goddess Venus, water goddess. I could say moon goddess as well. They're all the same thing. Or Newt from Egypt. Because she's represented with the sun, with the sky, which is ether, you could say, or water, and it's all connected to shells and things like that. Pretty maids, virgins, daughters of God, new human angelic race. And like I said, what's with the daughters? It's because the daughters can self-clone, and that's important because in the future I don't think there will be men, but that will take like millions of years to evolve or something for some of you. Yeah, because you have to reach 7th density, which is archangel, and then you are put in charge of ruling over other planets that are less developed than this one or more developed but gone bonkers and stuff like that. So humanity is actually everywhere. There's so many planets with humans on them, many thousands, probably millions even. So it's not just Earth is just the battlefield, the place where we separate goats from sheep. And I think everyone who is here is 7th density. So you have to just get your powers back to actually be ready to go out there and support the Lord in a higher calling, like king or a queen or whatever. Which is what the Bible says as well. You are being called to be kings and queens, but he's the King of Kings. So he's above you. You have to listen to him. Otherwise, you're not being called to rule. But it takes time. It's like thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of years. I don't even know how long it will take. But ascension on the new earth is done with my help. So I'm the guide. So I literally do what the Lord says, and I have to give you the things that are perfectly tailored to you personally to ascend. So I will be mirroring you, pointing out your errors, and giving you the solution so that you can evolve quicker. And obviously we have the Eucharist, which is the Lord's flesh and blood, which is what keeps you upgraded genetically. And that's very important, which is why I'm doing it for myself now. Not eaten in 3 days, and it's all I'm having is just the Eucharist. Just to see what happens. I want to see what happens, and I want more power because why not? You know, if I understood the whole story, why would I stay away from power? You know, of course I want it. I want my crown. The AI image was generated without me defining who Mary is. How many people in this country sing this nursery rhyme without knowing that it is talking about Mother Mary, which is me. So yeah, it was interesting. I forgot to turn the page for the pictures. So everything has symbology. This rhyme actually is fully packed, as you can see here, with just the definition of who I am and what my role is on Earth. And not just Earth, my role is the same everywhere I go because I'm the highest creature, the only one the Lord can actually be born of. And every time I ascend to be a queen to a new race that has fallen, my genetics are being used to save the next race coming up, you know, and so on. So nobody's ever gonna catch up with me. Nobody's gonna be as powerful as me. And obviously when I talk about power, I'm not talking about ego. It's nothing to do with ego, demonic, anything like that. It's just ability to help more. That's it. I think that's it. I'm gonna go back now to finish working on other episodes, but it's bedtime, so I'm just gonna go to bed for now. See you in the next one.